There is a 10-minute conversation you have been avoiding at work, and learning how to ask for a raise is worth more than every budgeting tweak you will make in your entire life. I am going to give you the exact number to ask for, the evidence to bring, the script word for word, and what to say when they push back, including the one sentence that turns a no into a scheduled yes. Because here is the part that should genuinely annoy you. Cutting your coffee saves you maybe $1,800 a year. A $5,000 raise, invested from age 30, is worth over $500,000 by 65. Same year of your life. 10 minutes of discomfort versus a decade of small sacrifices. And most people never ask. Every piece of money advice you have ever been given lives on the spending side. Cut the subscriptions, skip the coffee, cook at home. All of it works. And all of it shares one limitation. It is capped. $5 a day on coffee is about $1,800 a year. Quit coffee entirely, completely, forever, and you have found $1,800. That is your ceiling. You cannot cut below zero, and most people are already closer to that floor than the internet pretends. The income side has no ceiling at all. And unlike the coffee, you do the work once. The raise then arrives automatically, every 2 weeks, whether you think about it or not. A $5,000 raise is nearly 3 times the coffee in year 1. But that still undersells it, because of the thing almost nobody explains. Raises are a percentage of your base. Get your base up once, and every future raise is calculated on the higher number. That $5,000 does not sit still. With typical annual raises on top of it, that same bump is worth roughly $14,000 a year by the time you are 65. Add it all up, and a single successful ask at 30 is worth somewhere north of $300,000 in raw wages over a career before you invest a single cent of it. One conversation, $300,000. And the average person will spend more time this month choosing a streaming plan. Now, before I give you the number to ask for, I have to deal with the thing actually stopping you, because it is not the math. It is the fear that asking makes you look greedy or ungrateful. So let me tell you what is happening on the other side of that desk. Your manager has a budget line you have never seen, and they are not shocked by this conversation. They are expecting it. Your coworkers just never have it. Do not walk in and ask for a raise. Walk in and ask for a number. Getting that number takes 2 pieces of homework. Homework 1. What does the market actually pay for your role? Start with the Bureau of Labor Statistics wage data. It is free, it is government, and nobody uses it. Then cross-check the salary sites for your city and your years of experience. You want a real range for your title, in your metro, at your level, not a national average, which is meaningless. Then check your own employer's job postings. Many states now require companies to publish salary ranges, so your own company may be advertising what it would pay to replace you. If that range is above what you earn, that is not an opinion. That is your employer's own published number. Now, pick one specific figure, not a range. A range means they pick the bottom of it, not a percentage, because I'd like 10% invites a negotiation about percentages instead of about value. One number, in the upper part of the range you found. Homework 2. The evidence file. 1 page. And this is where almost everyone gets it wrong. They list their job duties. Your duties are why they pay you at all. They are not why they pay you more. List outcomes, with numbers attached. I cut onboarding time by 40%. I absorbed 30% more tickets after Sarah left, with no drop in satisfaction. I brought in the Henderson account, $60,000. If your work cannot be measured in money, measure the nearest thing. Time saved, errors avoided, volume handled. Find 3, then timing. Ask before budgets are set, not after. Once the numbers are locked, the answer is no, for reasons that have nothing to do with you. Ask on the back of a win, while it is fresh. And book a dedicated 15 minutes. Never ambush your manager inside a meeting about something else. The invite says, 15 minutes to talk about my compensation. Naming it is not rude. An unprepared manager defaults to no. And the honest caveat, if you are on a performance plan, or your company just did layoffs last month, this is the wrong month. That is not weakness. That is timing. And I know the thing genuinely sitting in your head is not the research. It is, what if they say no, and now it is awkward forever, and now I am the person who asked? That fear is the single most expensive thought most people ever have. So here is the script, word for word, including the exact sentence to use when the answer is no, the most valuable sentence in this video. 4 beats: commitment, evidence, number, silence. You open by making clear you intend to stay. You are not there to threaten or to vent. Then 3 outcomes in about 30 seconds. No apologizing, no hedging. Then the number, plainly. Then the beat that actually decides it. Silence. Here it is, top to bottom. Write this down. Thanks for making the time. I want to talk about my compensation. I am happy here, and I plan to keep building here. Over the past year, I cut onboarding time by 40%. I absorbed the extra ticket volume after Sarah left with no drop in satisfaction, and I closed the Henderson account. Based on market data for this role in this market, the range is 95 to 115,000. I am asking for 110, and then you stop talking. That is the whole move. 2 seconds of silence will stretch out like a year, and every instinct will tell you to fill it. Do not soften it. Do not laugh. And whatever you do not add the sentence 90% of people add. But I understand if that's not possible. That hands back everything you just built. You have negotiated against yourself before they said a word. The silence is not aggression. It is just room for them to think. Now, things to never say. Never, I need it. Your rent going up is not your employer's problem. Personal need is not leverage. Your value is. Never, I feel like I deserve. Feelings are not evidence. That is what the file is for. Never apologize for asking. And never bluff a competing offer you do not have. If they call it, you have nothing. So you have said your number, and you are sitting in the silence. There are only 4 things they can come back with, and one of them sounds like a total win but is actually the most dangerous outcome in this conversation. Handle it wrong, and there is a real chance you are out of that company inside a year, without understanding why. Let's take all 4. Answer 1. An immediate yes. Congratulations. And note this carefully, because an instant yes almost always means you asked too low. Take it, get it confirmed in writing by email that day, and put a reminder in your calendar to do this again in 12 months. Aim higher next time. Answer 2. No, there is no budget. This is the moment the whole video exists for. So here is the sentence. I understand. What would I need to demonstrate between now and the next review for this to be a yes then? Then follow it with, can we write that down and book the follow-up now? Look at what that does. You have converted a no into a dated appointment with agreed criteria. You did not get angry, and you left as someone with a plan instead of someone with a grievance. And if your manager cannot name a single concrete thing you would need to do, that is enormously useful information. The answer was never about your performance. That tells you something about the company, not about you. Answer 3. Not now, maybe next cycle. Same move exactly. A date and criteria in writing. Next cycle, with nothing attached to it, is just a polite no with better manners. Answer 4. The counter. They come back lower. This is normal. This is the actual negotiation, and it is where most people cave instantly. Do not take the first counter reflexively. Try. Can we meet in the middle at 105? And if base pay is genuinely frozen, sometimes it truly is, then trade. A title change, a retention bonus, extra PTO, and remote days. The title is the most underrated by a mile, because a title is not a favor. It is a repricing. It follows you to your next job, and every future offer is anchored to it. Now the dangerous one. If you already had another offer in hand and they counter to keep you, be careful. A counteroffer only makes sense if the actual reason you were leaving gets fixed. If you were leaving because of your manager, the hours, or the ceiling above you, more money repairs none of that. It just puts a price on staying somewhere you had already decided to leave, and you are now, quietly, a known flight risk. So let's say it works. You walk out of that room with $5,000 more a year. Genuinely. Well done. And now you are about to make it disappear inside 2 months, and you will not be able to tell me where it went. So let me show you what that same 5,000 turns into if you do one specific thing on the day it lands. This is the part that turns a raise into $500,000. Here is the default outcome. The raise lands, your lifestyle quietly expands to meet it within 2 months, and a year later you cannot identify a single thing that improved. That is not a character flaw. That is just what unallocated money does. So use the rule from the millionaire video, the raise half rule. Half of every raise goes into investing, permanently, automatically, before it ever touches your spending account. The other half improves your life, guilt-free. That is the point of earning more. You never had the money, so you do not miss it. Now the number in the title, a $5,000 raise at 30, is roughly $3,750 after tax. Invest that every year until 65 at a 7% average annual return after inflation. And that is a historical average, not a guarantee, and you land somewhere around $518,000. That is the 10-minute conversation. That is the whole video. And if you only do the half rule, half invested, half spent on your actual life, it is still roughly $260,000. Half the discipline, still $250,000. And remember, both of those numbers assume the raise never grows. It does. So, the action. And it takes 10 minutes. The day the raise lands, before it hits your checking account, log into your benefits portal and increase your contribution percentage. That same day, not when it clears. The day. Because the money you never see is the money you never adjust to. Then do the whole thing again in 12 to 18 months. This is a habit, not a one-off. 2 honest caveats. If you are in a role with rigid banded pay, a lot of government and union roles, the ask works differently, and your real lever is the promotion or the move. And the uncomfortable truth is that the largest pay jumps usually come from changing jobs, not staying. Asking is still worth it. Just know that staying has a ceiling, and switching is how you break it. So, research the market number. Build a 1-page file of outcomes, book 15 minutes, say the 4 beats, and then be quiet. If it is a no, get the criteria and the date. And whatever you win, automate half of it the same day. 10 minutes of discomfort. $500,000. That is the best hourly rate you will ever be offered. Subscribe. Every Tuesday I break down one more piece of how to build real financial security on a normal income. Next Tuesday, Roth versus traditional 401. Which one actually wins? And why the answer is really a bet on what your tax rate looks like 30 years from now. Drop a comment. Have you ever asked for a raise? And what actually happened? The good and the bad. I think people genuinely need to hear both. See you next Tuesday.